Hello, YouTube. I hope open-minded souls coming to listen to something that you're never gonna hear on any other channel, or very few. No mainstream channel is ever gonna tell you about this kind of stuff. I took powertrain and chassis and IC engines in high school. And one of the things you learn is when the internal combustion engine that burns fuel was invented, there was also a water engine that was invented right beside each other. And they say that switching to water would still add molecules to the atmosphere, which would make it hotter and still create climate change, global warming, blah, blah, blah. Because you're putting more molecules into the atmosphere. Every molecule is what holds heat, right? And the Earth can only hold so much heat or whatever. That's the whole deal. Which disproves space, because space is a total lack of atmosphere, a total lack of molecules. It's nothing. So it's a vacuum. So first off, it would suck the atmosphere right out of Earth immediately in every planet. But secondly, even if there was a container holding our atmosphere, the sun's rays wouldn't have anything to hold heat for that 93 million miles. There's nothing there. So you'd never feel the heat from the sun. And I can feel the heat from the sun when it comes out from behind a cloud when I'm going 120 down the highway with the air conditioning on. You can feel the difference immediately, even in the wintertime. And as soon as it goes away, the temperature drops immediately. That's not 93 million miles away, heating the whole atmosphere evenly, blah, 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 whatever, all that bullshit. I digest. So, we had the water car and the internal combustion engine invented at the same time. They came out together. They chose the fuel burning one because they said, oh, well, water's not going to be any better for the environment, so we'll just go with fuel. We can make money off that, right? It's not just everywhere falling out of the sky. Anyway, which is total bullshit, first off, because water engines, we would be taking some water out of circulation, which we do anyway. But you could run your exhaust pipe into your gas tank. Nothing goes into the atmosphere. The water just recirculates back into cools down in the tank, and away you go. Bob's your uncle, you're all done. You might have to put like a little cooler there somewheres or something like that, just to, in the summer, to get the water to cool back down and actually get into the tank. But I'm sure you could. We could figure it out, right? People are smart. That would have been like the least of our problems, and it wouldn't be a hose on the outside of your car like you're thinking. Like, obviously, you'd just run all that internally, and your car wouldn't even have an exhaust pipe. There wouldn't be that there. Everything would be underneath, closed up and neat looking. be blowing fucking smoke out of the back of your car all the time. And if you did, it would be water. It would quickly cool back down in the atmosphere and turn back into water. Technically, there'd be a chance that, yes, it would float up or into the upper atmospheres and come back down as rain. So we'd get more rain or whatever. But, like I said, most things could all be built to just continuously run, and you'd never have to add water. We'd be removing, that 100 gallons of water, 50 gallons, 10 gallon, 1 gallon, depending on what you're using, right? Like your lawnmower, you'd take a gallon of water. Your truck would take a lot more water. So we'd be taking all of that water out of our water table, and that would affect things, definitely, right? But not like pulling the oil out of the ground, not like pulling the cobalt out of the earth. Wouldn't affect things like that. It would affect things like lakes and rivers, not rivers, lakes and oceans might drop a foot over time. All that water would still be here within the containment of Earth because it has to. There's nowhere for it to go. It's stuck here. Now we could possibly take that from Antarctica kind of thing to ice-wise. Either way, it wouldn't affect us that much. It wouldn't affect us like the mining and the shit we're doing. And that cobalt thing, that's for solar and for wind. It's horrible for the earth. It's to make the batteries and shit. Anyway. And then my next point is we've had the free energy. We also have more than enough space for everybody. The earth is not crowded. I've said this over and over again, but I'll say it again. The earth on the world map, Florida is like, let's say it's this big, right? On a big world map. So Jacksonville, Florida is about the size of the tip of this finger, right? Square footage wise, we could all stand in Jacksonville, Florida, shoulder to shoulder. 7 billion people. We'd all fit there. It'd be fucking crowded. You're right. You wouldn't want to be in the middle of that group. But if you took the whole state of Florida, you could put all 7 billion of us there comfortably. There wouldn't be any room for animals or anything else, but the whole rest of the world would be empty of mankind entirely, except for maybe some extra farmland. But if we lived properly wherever we were, and the place to go would be like Saskatchewan or something like that, right? Out in the prairies where it's just fucking flat nothing. And just start making farms and stuff in everybody's backyard. So you just grow what you eat and have cellars full of preserves and shit for your winter. Um, and then um, some people, well, we'd obviously still want like meat and things like that, so it would be a little bit more difficult. But if we all just went with like chicken and eggs, we could still all do it in Saskatchewan, no problem. You could, in an acre of land, and I think you'd have more than an acre each. In an acre of land, you can easily have your laying hens, like a dozen, in a little barn, fucking 8 by 12, and they don't even have to go outside, really. And then, but it, if you're nice to them, you have a little bird nest beside that. No problem. You got all kinds of space for that. And then you have your meat king kind of birds or whatever, like your eating chickens, that you could really hatch yourself out of your laying hens and just fire them into the different pen every year. You know what I mean? Because you definitely have a surplus of egg, and replace your hens and your roosters and stuff. And you could do that with your neighbor, where you'd get his rooster and you give him a rooster, so that you get different roosters for your new hens, and switch with a different neighbor at a different time, so that you're not getting inbred hens and eggs. And then easily have huge amount of space for a garden. And even if you wanted like to be industrious, more so to the technology age and stuff, that would only take a little bit more space, like another province in Canada, or a state, and you could make that second state the industrious one, and this one the farming one. And like, if you live in the farming one, you don't necessarily have to work all your own farm stuff. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to learn that shit, or if it grosses you out or whatever to fucking touch it, you just hire me, right? So while you're off work, and that gives me whatever, because we would need so little money, we'd be able to destroy billions of our dollars. Just have the actual bills. I'm not saying, right? We just destroy them and take them out of circulation. Don't replace them. And then that makes all of our bills worth that much more. The existing ones become worth what the ones we took out. You like if you had 10 bills and you took 2 out, right? You could divide 2 into 8, right? So you'd have 25 cents to add to each of the dollars. So now each dollar is worth $1.25 on the world market. Right? If you could destroy 5, then each dollar is going to be worth 2 on the world market now. So to pay somebody for your day labor would be back to being like $5. And you can take that $5 and go fucking buy supplies for a month, 2 months. Go buy all kinds of stuff, bags of flour and fucking whatever. Anyway, which brings us to the resources. There's tons to go around, to everybody. Nobody needs to be hungry. Nobody needs to be starving. Nobody needs to be in a desert living underpoverished and all that shit. We do that to each other. Right? I know a lot of atheist type people will get smug about it and say, well, where's God at in that? Why didn't he stop us from doing that to each other? You know, I just punched you in the nose. Where's your God now? It's not about... but that example was just too perfect. That's exactly what the... I lost it. I got thinking of that old man looks just like my ex's grandfather, who just died, but he was from this city. It just weirded me out. Lost my train of thought. But when we make decisions to make sure there's celebrities and that football teams make billions of dollars and all that kind of shit, we let all this kind of fucking shit just go bonkers, and then the bankers and the fucking corporations just blow that out of the water again, and we just continually let these fucking greedy fucking people hoard away all the resources of the earth for themselves, and then watch half the world fucking starve to death. It's not God's fault. It's our fault. We did that. We're doing that by being complacent in that system. Right? That's why I don't watch TV. I don't eat at restaurants, food chain restaurants, like fucking McDonald's and stuff like that, but even Montana's or whatever, like, though I love Montana's, one of their burgers, but I mean, I don't look at movies, you know what I mean? I don't go to the movies, I don't support the big. I go to the credit union with my bank. I do everything possible to stay away from them. You know, I still have to pay tax and work and be a contributing member of society in some ways, right? Have insurance and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I can push away from the bulk of it. Like, there doesn't need to be Disney and all this stuff. Because of the way it led down. If they were pure, if Disney was actually what it's advertised to be, that would be fine. But what was that? I just watched an interview about them, or a little news thing about them, news clip, and they had like a group meeting for a day or whatever, and there was like an FBI sting that day going on with that group meeting, and I forget how many people were in the meeting. It wasn't many. Like, let's say it was 30 or 40 of them. It wasn't a lot of people. 17 of them got busted for child pornography and whatever, grooming kids and all this other shit. It was like crazy. When I got a job one time, that's what made me think of right away. It made me think of it again. I did a job one time, and I had to do a criminal background, and I thought it was weird, right? And they were like, no, we need you to do this criminal background check. And I said, okay, well, whatever. And then I was talking to to my boss about it later, and I passed, like, once he was my boss at this point, and I just brought it up, and I was like, that was weird, and he was like, oh yeah, no, well, in Ontario, for the same company, they went and sent some kitchen installers to this woman's house, and they both raped her. And I thought, what are the odds of them putting two fucking rapists together? You know, that neither of those guys was like, no, or, huh? And then the other guy be like, oh shit, I was joking or whatever. So I've been in those situations. Not that bad, but I mean, like, kind of similar. And I have seen things that bad, I guess. Yes. So, yeah, that bad too. But those guys got beat up when it was that bad. They got the shit kicked out of them. Not by me. I was a little skinny nerd, but I made sure to get the biggest guy there that I fucking knew, and fucking went right in there and saved that little girl. Anyway. Fucking. That was a bad day. A bad memory. Sorry. Lost it. Sorry. Went right down a bad train of thought there. My old life. I was just young then. I was fucking 16, 17, something like that. I was on acid. A big house party. And the boys pushed this girl into a closet, and one of them was going to rape her, and the other one was watching the door, and he wanted me to rape her too. What are the odds of them being 17 of them together? All at once. All in the same fucking... How many of them are at Disney that they just randomly, in one day, they all were passing around, immediately passing child porn all around each other and going on. So that's why things like Disney don't need to exist. Like there's entertainment is good, but don't put evil in front of your eyes, especially when you're a child, little babies. It's evil. And those people are groomed to think that shit's funny. They're groomed to be groomers because they want to bring up a generation of perverts. Even worse than the previous generation of perverts. And they don't even want to be subtle about it anymore. They want to be right out and out drag queen fucking story time. You've seen the pictures, I would hope. If you haven't, don't. Take my word for it. It's disgusting. If you can't take my word for it, go look it up. I don't know, it's just... The world could be so awesome, so great, so wonderful, and happy for everybody. there's always going to be work, there would always be death, and there would always be sorrow, and and there's always going to be assholes. But it's rampant. All of those things are rampant. And the assholeness is rampant because we think so little of each other. We think so little of ourselves. That's why suicide's so high too. And murder in other communities. It's because you're just a monkey. You're a bug. You evolved from soup. So why? What does it matter, right? That's just a lie. That's right from the pit of Satan, that lie. And you're a divine, wonderful creation that had the breath of God blown into your lungs. Like, you're so special. And if you're watching this and understanding it or whatever, and you're already saved, like, you're so special. You're a diamond in all this coal. You're like that, a whole layer. I don't know if you know geology at all, but like a whole coal mine of coal, and you're that one diamond that's in there, and you're huge. You're gonna make a generation of families rich. Like, you're amazing. God bless you. So, and that's how rare people say, oh, why you do these videos? Well, it's for you, you know? You're not alone. It just seems like it. But there's coal mines everywhere. The flood was everywhere. It made mines and coal and diamonds all over the earth. The ones that are buried in the most coal, with the most pressure and the most shit around them, they're going to be the strongest and the best. You know, they'll cut anything. So, anyway. Battling on. That wasn't babble, though. That was, just the Holy Ghost speaking. I hope you were listening. Have a great day, YouTube. See you later. Woo, falling down.